The Galactic Assembly's War Council had never seen anything quite like it. Suspended in the void of space, the human vessel HSF Vindicator crawled across the black like a wounded beast. Its massive hull was thick with layers of outdated composite armor, scarred from previous skirmishes. The ship moved with painful slowness, barely 1/5 the cruising speed of modern Zarthan cruisers. Admiral Threx of the ex-Zarthan Empire clicked his mandibles in amusement as the human warship emerged on the tactical display. That is their answer to our demands, he sneered. The command deck echoed with the chittering laughter of his officers. They must be joking, said Commander Keltaz, his eyes scanning the human ship's specs. Thermal signature is low. Energy output is minimal. Their weapons systems are ancient railgun batteries. No shields detected. Their propulsion archaic. The Council of Allied Fleets, all 23 species, had gathered to teach the Terrans a final lesson. After decades of skirmishes along the Orion Arm, the humans had refused to yield. Despite their primitive technology, they fought back with savage tenacity. But now, finally, they were isolated, cornered, one ship against an entire armada. A human voice cut through the comms. This is Admiral Elias Rourke of the Vindicator. You are trespassing in Terran-protected space. Turn back or face consequences. More laughter followed. Bold words from a ship that looked like a museum relic. Threx leaned forward. Let's see what consequences look like when a fossil takes on the future. All ships, fire. Hundreds of plasma lances, missile salvos, and beam weapons streaked toward the Vindicator. Explosions blossomed across its hull. Smoke and debris vented into space. The human ship seemed to groan in protest. But it didn't stop. It kept moving. Slowly. Deliberately. And then it answered. From beneath its armored belly, hatches opened. Not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands of shimmering rods launched into space. At first glance, they looked like inert metal slugs, kinetic projectiles. Obsolete. Then the readings came in. Commander Keltaz's mandibles stopped twitching. Admiral, those aren't rail slugs. They're smart rods, Threx whispered, eyes wide. Kinetic orbital bombardment munitions. But that's impossible. They're illegal under every known treaty. Treaties humans had never signed. The rods didn't explode. They didn't need to. They accelerated unguided, purely kinetic, riding microthrusters and guided by onboard AI. Tiny pieces of tungsten and osmium, no bigger than a man's forearm, became weapons of apocalyptic force. They struck with planetary-scale energy. One Exarthan cruiser vanished in a silent flash as a rod pierced its antimatter core. Another ship spun out of control, its engine block pulverized by a slug that passed clean through. A Dravari dreadnought, shielded by 8 layers of ablative plating, was torn in half like paper. The fleet dissolved into chaos. Admiral Rourke's voice returned. Calm. Cold. You're used to battles of light and mirrors. Beams and shields. We don't fight like that. We fight like gravity. Like inevitability. Fall back. Someone on the council screamed. Scatter. But they couldn't. As more rods deployed from the Vindicator, they adjusted mid-flight. Their internal systems tracked movement, predicted evasive maneuvers, and struck accordingly. Every time a ship blinked away, a rod had already calculated the vector. It wasn't war. It was extermination. 3 hours later, space was silent. The HSF Vindicator drifted among wreckage. Fires flickered from shattered hulls. Air hissed into vacuum from ruptured ships. Of the 200 vessels that had arrived to destroy Earth's final stand, only 5 escaped crippled, terrified, fleeing faster than they ever had before. Inside the Terran warship, Admiral Rourke stood before a cracked viewpane, staring out at the debris field. A junior officer approached, pale and shaken. "Sir, they didn't expect that." "No," Rourke replied. "They expected a show of power. Flash. Bravado. But we don't build warships for show. We build them to finish fights." "But why only one ship?" He looked at the officer, his face hard. "Because that's all we needed." In the aftermath, the Galactic Assembly convened in emergency session. The Exarthan Emperor did not attend. He was dead, his ship one of the first struck. Rumors spread like wildfire, of rods that fell like thunderbolts, of humans who didn't care for rules, who remembered Earth's history of asymmetric warfare and built accordingly. Treaties were re-examined, borders were redrawn, and from that day forward, no one laughed at a slow human warship again.